This is me, it's Queen Elset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Okay, guys, so first and foremost, I want to say hello to everybody that's new, all the new subscribers. Hi, how are you? And hello to all my old subscribers. Hey, how are you? All right, guys, so listen, today I want to talk about 5 things. I use fives a lot because I really like the goddess Oshun. She's an Orisha, actually. And 5 is her number. I love her. So, what are 5 things every Aquarius should know? All right, now, as an Aquarius, the first thing you have to know before you know any of the rest of this is to be yourself. Aquarius are typically going to be different than the rest. You're going to be alone on a lot of issues because you're going to be futuristic with a lot of things, old-fashioned with some things, eccentric and more creative with other things. So you may find yourself alone on a lot of issues. So you have to know, you have to be very self-aware, and you have to be okay with standing alone. If it's the right thing, that's what you want to do. So you have to, as an Aquarius, know first and foremost to be yourself. Be your eccentric, running around naked, creative, weirdo self. That's number one. To me, as an Aquarius, this is one of the most important lessons to learn because the whole world is going to try to make you wrong all the time. The whole world is going to try to make you wrong because the things that you know to be true don't go along with what the world believes to be true. Sometimes, like I said, because you're so far in the future that the world is still behind you. And sometimes you're old-fashioned, so you're picking up something from the past that the world has disregarded, you see. So you have to be yourself. You have to accept yourself. You have to be okay with standing alone a lot of times. On a lot of times when there are a lot of issues that come up, I'm standing alone. But I'm right. Not all the time. Everybody can be wrong sometimes, but most of the time I'm right. So I don't let anybody move me. I don't let nobody shake me when I'm right. So as an Aquarius, you have to learn how to be yourself, accept yourself, and stand your ground. That's going to be really important for you because, like I said, this doesn't stop. This doesn't stop. This has been lifelong. Ever since I was a kid, this has been going on. So you have to be okay with your eccentric self, your unusual self, your creative self. You have to accept yourself because if you don't accept yourself, if you don't be yourself, you're going to feel very stifled, unhappy, depressed. It's really going to stab into you, maybe even anxious. So the first one is that you have to learn how to be yourself and be okay with who you are. Very important. 2, Aquarius must know that it's okay to seek support. Aquarius, you are not expected to do everything on your own. We were not put on this planet alone for a reason. It's okay to seek support. If you need support with your emotions, big one. If you need support with a project, you have to I would say you need a good support system. Now, I think everybody needs a support system, even if it's only 2 or 3 people. But Aquarius is often not okay with seeking support, almost afraid or hesitant to seek support. So you have to learn that it's okay to seek support, especially when you're struggling with something internally. It can destroy you. So you may need to talk to the therapist. You may need to talk to the grief counselor. You may have to reach out, and it's okay. 3, communication is painful, but it's a good thing. Communication is painful, Aquarius. I understand. I understand. Sometimes it's so hard to communicate, especially when it's something that's difficult, a painful situation, a hard conversation. I know exactly how you feel about them. But even though communication is painful, it's a good thing. It's good to communicate clearly with people, even if it's the end of a situation. It's good to communicate with people that you care about. It's good to communicate with people. It's good to let people know what's going on with you. Okay? And even if it's time to go, even when it's time to say deuces, at least say something. Communication is a good thing. A lot of Aquarius will go silent so fast, and a lot of times it's because they don't know how to communicate, or they're having difficulty with what they have to communicate, and that's one of them times when you may need to seek support and getting somebody to help you learn how to be more effective with your communication skills. Communication is a skill. That means it can be learned. So if you don't think you're really that great at it, take a class, do a workshop, buy a book, work on it, seek support on it. Sometimes books and YouTube videos are a great source of support. Okay? Now, let's see the next one. Aquarius must learn to trust your intuition. Aquarius, I told you before, a lot of times people are going to try to make you wrong. There are a lot of times. You got to trust your intuition. If you know that you're right about something, you got to stick to your guns. Sometimes when you're right, it could be a life or death situation. You could be correct. And if you go left, then you reach civilization. And you go right, you run into a band of bears. If you know that you're right, if your intuition, if your gut instinct is telling you, Aquarius, that you're right about something, and everybody else is telling you no, stick with your gut. Trust your gut, because your intuition, your gut instincts are tied to the Creator. They're tied to heaven. They're tied to your spiritual ancestors, whatever your spiritual looks like. I don't know what yours looks like, your God, your goddess, whatever. That's where your intuition, your gut instinct is tied to. So why would you listen to a room full of humans before you listen to God? No, they don't know what they talking about. Humans don't know what they talking about half of the time. Don't listen to them. Listen to your gut instinct. You got to trust your intuition, because first of all, it'll save your life. Number one. Number two, if you don't trust your gut, your intuition and your gut instincts, you become confused. As an Aquarius especially, you become very confused because you don't quite know why the others say what they say. Like, how did you come up with that? So if you start to not listen to yourself, you're going to get confused because you don't hear what they're hearing and they don't hear what you're hearing. You got to listen to your intuition. Your gut is telling you that for a reason. Lastly, being angry is no excuse to destroy people. A lot of Aquarius have bad tempers and poor impulse control. And when they get angry, they go off. They go off. They snap out, And I'm going to say, there is a time for anger. If somebody attacks you in the wilderness with a knife, it's a time for anger, But just because you're angry at somebody, if somebody hurts your feelings or says something that you didn't like, you do not have the excuse to destroy them. That is not your excuse to let your poor impulse control go. Don't let the dragon go, So if someone makes you angry, instead of destroying them, because we got some tongues on us, instead of destroying them, just leave them alone. If it's somebody make you mad or does something to you and they're, not important, just leave them alone. If they are important, take some time to cool off and see if you can do some communication that I talked about earlier. And again, you may need to seek some support. If you had a fight with your husband or your wife or your daughter or somebody that's close to you and you don't know how to address it, first deal with your anger in a productive way. And then seek support to communicate with them. You got to put some effort into these areas, especially because these are areas that many Aquarius struggle with. Okay? So these are 5 things that Aquarius need to know. Aquarius, if you can work these 5 things, you'll find your life a lot easier. Okay? You'll find your life a whole lot easier. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. and also pass it on to another Aquarius that needs to know these 5 things. Many of us need to know these 5 things. So if you would like to send me a love donation, I will leave my PayPal. If you would like to send me a gift, I'll leave my Amazon wish list. If you would like to get a tarot or an oracle card reading, please email me. If you have a question for me, please leave your question underneath this video or email it to me. I'll be glad to take a look at it. Likewise, I'm on social media. I don't have a lot of time for chatting, but I do answer. And I'm on Facebook more than I'm on Instagram. So I'll leave both of those as well. And I promise within the day to get back to you. Okay, guys? All right, I got to get going. See you later.